Check the mic, 1, 2, this ain't no drill, this is the truth. From Rochester streets, here to veterans, youth, and the wisdom of ages. Battle hardened and true, combat news on the air, breaking through for me and you. We're boots on the ground, voices strong and clear, cutting through the static, conquering every fear. Monroe County to NYS, our message rings out wide for every soldier, every family standing side by side. Combat news, yeah, we're the best, no doubt, no debate. Giving power to the...
Hello, everybody. It's me, Sarge from Combat News, and here we are with another episode of Conversations with Sarge. And today is a special episode because not only do we have a veteran here, Master Sergeant Green, but we also have Kalinda Washington, who is a candidate running for the 135th Assembly District here in New York State. So I want to welcome you both here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It means a lot
It's
for
a
the
pleasure to
veterans
be
to be
here.
able to hear firsthand from candidates and from veterans alike. So, Master Sergeant Green, if you don't mind, we could start with you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and a brief history about your military life?
So, thank you so much for having the opportunity to be on Combat News. I'm retired from the United States Army. I had the opportunity to serve our great nation. 3 years in the Marine Corps, 23 years in the Army, several deployments. But I'm just glad to have the opportunity to serve our great nation. And, and currently I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. My responsibility, I'm the site manager here at Sepulveda, VA, and my responsibility continues on, taking care of men and women who serve to make sure they get the best benefits and health care they deserve. So all my life, I sort of like been connected with the military in some type of capacity. So I'm just very honored to be able to say that I'm a soldier, a veteran, and a patriot and American citizen.
Amen. And now you also have your daughter here who is going to be running for assembly, and you, or who is running for assembly, and you not dealing with, but you being involved with the government your whole life and knowing how important it is to have the right representatives in there for us, so we don't have to keep fighting these fights. Can you talk a little bit about how important that is from your eyes, being that, the way that you transition from uniform to continuing your service working with the VA, how important this is?
So I'd like to say for Kalinda, I'm very proud of her. I'm very glad that she wants to continue like with public service. I think it's a big role and responsibility to have the opportunity to represent the state of New York. But she's a tough person. She's been through a lot of challenges. She's resilient. I think she will be a great candidate. One thing that's good about Kalinda, you're going to get a frank, honest answer from her. She's going to do what she can to take her constituents and also to take her veterans. Because if she doesn't, I'm quite sure she'll hear from me to let me know, knock on the door like, hey, we want you to make sure, don't forget about the veterans, because your dad's a vet, so don't forget about that. But I just think that I'm really proud of her for being a Black American, and all of her accomplishments, like for education, as a school teacher, taking care of her family. It's just that I'm just really proud, and I think that she has what it takes to fight for the citizens of New York State to do a good job.
Absolutely. It seems like she has a good role model, somebody like yourself who knows all about, discipline and has good values and morals, and that's amazing, because we need to have real patriots that are representing us, veterans in service, because
Yes,
it's
yes,
very crucial. I think we might have lost her. I know she is in Albany right now. She'll probably be right
right,
back with us. But what do you
right.
what do you feel is most important when it comes to veterans when they transition out of the military? What do you find is most important? What would you tell veterans transitioning out?
So I would tell veterans a couple of things. First of all, I would tell them, make sure while you're on active duty, right, to document all of your disabilities that occur. I would tell all veterans, like, if something happened to you, regardless if you did 2 years or 5 years or 20 years, make sure it's documented, do a follow-up on it, and make sure it's annotated. Number two, the veterans or the military members, they have the skill sets to be productive citizens. So I would say that they need to go like to ACAP, or whatever they call it today, to get their resumes done. But I think most of all, once they transition out, right, they have to understand that it's a different type of world once you get out, becoming a civilian, because a lot of civilians really don't understand like what veterans go through, like the deployments or all of the rigorous training. So I just think that they just have to just remember when they transition, maybe if they haven't worked with veterans, in the past, or working or only civilians, they need to just let them know that, hey, I have stuff that I can offer to the team, and I'm here to learn and to help and assist if you use my talents. And I think that's very important to make sure they stay visual and just to make sure that they are, open minded to transition and to go for the next chapter of life.
Absolutely. That is great advice. Kalinda, I see that you are back with us. Like I said, I know you were in Albany, so I was like, maybe it's the
The
service and what's
connection,
going on
yeah.
over there. Yes.
So I'm in the
Well,
lottery
thank
now.
you. Thank you for getting back with us. And as we
Welcome.
go through this, Mr. Green, if you have anything, insight or anything, please feel free, because I want to know from a veteran side too on these issues and certain things that your daughter is going to be, getting involved with, as an assembly member. In New York State, we have a thing with this new property tax, good feel good bill, I feel, going on, because when you read into it, you see that you have to have a home modification grant, and a lot of our listeners have seen that, and they said, well, that just narrows 33,000 veterans down to 12 veterans. How is that fair? But here they are, the politicians, the people in Washington or in New York State right now, on in their bull pits, you know what I mean, preaching that this is good for the veterans. And we need representatives like Kalinda who actually can say, well, literacy and reading comprehension is key. And if you read this, you can see that this is not all what it cracks up to be.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I just think that I'm sorry. I just think that veterans, when you legislate for veterans, like here in California, um, like I'm 100% service connected, so I have different opportunities. Like property taxes can be waived. I can get other type of benefits due to my service connection. But I think for New York State, me personally, I think all veterans should get some type of relief if they serve in the
Absolutely.
military. Maybe they can't get the 100% like I received, but maybe if they're 10%, 20% or beyond, it can be filtered in. That at different levels, they need to get some kind of tax break, on their property taxes. I think they deserve that and earned it. So that's just my
Absolutely.
little 2 cents.
No, I completely agree with you. And that's one of the things that I plan on doing when I get to Albany. We do not pay enough attention to our veterans. These are individuals who have made the decision to fight for our country. And if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't feel safe and secure in America the way that we do. Um, I feel like if legislators were to take the time to get on the ground and really talk to these veterans and hear their concerns and hear their needs face to face instead of making decisions for them, then we'll come a lot further as a community. But we need to continue to respect them as those who have provided service for the military. Many times what I've noticed is that we're so excited to have them join our military, and then once their service is done, sometimes as a country we forget the PTSD that may have been developed. We forget the time that was taken away from families. The we forget all of the mental and physical preparation that goes into going into another country and fighting as an American citizen. And we need to continue to honor them while they're here on American soil, just as though we would honor them when they are wherever they are being deployed to serve for us and our country.
Absolutely. And that was one of the questions. It's wild that both you guys had talked about it before I brought it up, but that was one of the things that the veterans in the podcast were wanting me to ask about was would you be willing to advocate for us for the veterans that don't have that 100%, that don't qualify for that full exemption? You know, the ones that do need help, because it seems like we have the homeless veterans, unhoused veterans, the ones that are fighting for their disability. Then we have the ones that are 100% service connected. Well, the ones in the middle, the ones what I call like the blue collar veterans, those are the ones that
Mhm.
are forgotten about. The ones that are still, their wife's working a job, maybe two, they're working a job and some side jobs, and they're getting their disability. Those are the ones that are forgotten about. Those are the ones that need tax breaks too. And I think that's great that, you know, you both had brought that up, you know, because those are the ones that are forgotten about. We can't just think about one side or the other. We have to look at all of them and say, hey, what is this one, A to Z, A to Z. Let's check it out. That's cool.
Right. I mean, how should their benefits be any different than those that hold seats in Congress or those that hold political seats? Politicians, they receive a lot of benefits holding these offices. And we have to think about how we allocate our funds as a state. Where can we utilize these resources so that we can continue to support our veterans? Not only that, I think that um, legislators tend to forget that if we treat our veterans properly, then more people will be encouraged to join our military.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
I agree. And then another thing that we have here, I don't know if Master Sergeant Green, if you're familiar with this, but it's called the Joseph P. Dwyer Peer Support Program. Right now, it's run through Compere Corps. It's a grant. It's funding that's given out. But what we were really looking for is for some push for some non-negotiable funding where it's permanent. You know, like a line item in the state budget. And the reason why we think that this is something that should be pushed for is because on the backside of what New York State is doing is that they're using this PFC Dwyer model that is only here in New York State, and they're pushing it out nationally. The problem
Mhm.
with that is that they're going away from the model that we have here, and instead of giving it to the community when they push it out nationally, they're going to give it to the VA, which is horrible. Horrible. How can you have peer to peer anything work when you have the VA involved? The VA is great for what they do, but when it comes to peer to peer, non clinical, especially if you have a proven model on a state level, this is not just Monroe County, this is across the state of New York, is the only place that does it. Why would you go away from that and give it to the VA? That sends red flags to us veterans. So, twofold, we wanted to try to, you know, talk about and see if you can, you know, write that down in your notes about the, you know, making sure that there is permanent money all the time, that it's not something that has to be fought for, that it is a line item. And also, when it does get pushed out, we don't want veterans to suffer, because we've been talking about the PFC Dwyer program on our podcast and Combat News for years. And they see our pictures, they see what we do, they see how big it's gotten, and people want to be a part of that. So if they push it out the wrong way, it's going to hurt veterans. It's going to mess with their mental health. It's not going to be a good thing. And it also makes New York State look horrible. You know what I mean? And it makes us veterans
Mhm.
look bad, because they're going to be like, Sarge, this is not what you guys were promoting. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So those there's little things like that, that if we don't have representatives that actually will listen to us veterans, that care, that say, hey, listen, I don't know it all, but I will find out and learn from people who actually know. And that's what we really need in our community. And it seems like you're walking in those footsteps already, Kalinda, and we definitely appreciate that. And I know, Mr. Green, when this does go nationally, this is something that you guys can look into on your side of things, because this
Right,
is so beneficial for the veteran community.
right, right. We gotta take care of our veterans always.
Yeah, well, that, you know, they say data shows that nearly 25% of recently separated New York State veterans face probable PTSD or depression. Yet many
Mhm.
don't speak, you know, up or ask for help. So we need to start having all these forms of treatment out there. And I know you, Master Sergeant Green, you're very familiar with what
Yeah.
I'm talking about when it
Yeah,
comes to.
so I was pretty fortunate because I work for the healthcare system, so I've been through all the demos, PDHRAs. When people reintegration when they come back, from deployments. And one thing that through my experience in the military, when I was in, I'm like a dinosaur. I'm like from the old school, right? And the old school is basically like just kind of suck it up, tie your boot up, keep moving on. But I think now with all of the new changes, I think when people come back from deployment and stuff, right, especially with PTSD, they need to get the help that they need because
Yes.
that help can help them maintain a healthy or productive life if they get the right type of treatment or right type of medication. I just think it's very important to attack or to connect with the veteran as soon as they separate, so that way that we give them something, to help with counseling and all these other things, homelessness, whatever we can do to assist the veteran. We have to make sure, we do that because a lot of times, as you know, we're trained to like war fighters to go out and do our stuff, but when
Yep.
we come back, we kind of hold that stuff in, and that stuff can really eat you up inside if you don't get the right a counseling. I would always call it detox. I always say that myself when I retired. I had to go through a detox process, but you have to, make sure you get the right help, so you become a productive citizen. Very
Ab-
important.
Absolutely, and getting the right help is right in line with being able to get to your VA clinic. And I know that I've talked to
Yes,
Kalinda
yes.
about that. We actually had an issue here. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Master Sergeant Green, but Monroe County thought that they were slick, and they took away the bus stop at our VA clinic, and they thought that that was okay to do. They did it during COVID. And that's the numbers they used. They said, oh, well, there was only, point, that basically there was still one veteran riding a day. So long story short, took 7 months of a lot of work, change.org, going in front of legislation, and trying to get this in order. We finally got not a full bus stop, but we have, from the last stop that they have for RTS on demand. Now we have a hub there that goes every 20 minutes from there to the VA till about 2:30, which is okay. It puts a Band-Aid on it. But what I would really like to see, and the veterans here would like to see, is the next people getting into office this next term to look into funding so that's permanent. Let's get a permanent bus route so veterans, instead of, a lot of times veterans still have to
Right.
take three buses,
That's
four buses in
ridiculous.
order to get to the VA. That's crazy. That's
It
insane.
is
We shouldn't have
crazy.
to ask for that. And I just hope, Kalinda, as you, continue on and you're looking into this could be something that you talk about, because this has been an ongoing fight with the veterans. And
Right.
like I said, us at Combat News, we fought ourselves against Monroe County, and we did have some politicians help us. Mercedes Vasquez helped us. We had that was about it. Latino Military Coalition helped us, but everybody else was just like nothing. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. The ultimate form of freedom is our independence. And you're telling
Hmm.
me that you're gonna give veterans free RTS bus passes, but they can't go to the VA. How does make it make sense, And so that's something. What do you think about that, Clint? Is that something that you
So
how do you
that
feel about that?
Well, I'm going to tell you that that is really disgusting to me because I don't feel like that's a huge ask. A bus stop so that our veterans can get to and from where they need to be or to the resources that they need. It's ridiculous, especially when one thing I would like to share with you is that in our child care programs in New York State, will provide bus passes for parents to get their children from their home to their childcare service. So, how is that fair that we are providing bus passes to parents that need the services? I understand that part, but we're not giving the same thing to our veterans. Not only
Yeah,
that, in terms of our parents that receive bus passes who need those bus passes, it should be something that is universal, right? Because it's something that affects everyone.
absolutely.
Makes no sense that fighting for your country and you feel a sense of being proud in doing so, and then you come back and you still have to fight for your rights. What sense does that make?
Yes. No, I agree. And just and to put it in a nutshell real quick, and I'll go to you, Master Sergeant Green. In a nutshell, from where I live on the, Greece is a suburb of the city of Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go all the way to the, Henrietta, where the VA clinic is. If I go to the RTS app right now and I go and I need RTS, and it's all free. Thank you. It's free. I understand. it literally takes me just in travel time, 4 hours in travel time. 4 hours. And guess what? RTS On Demand has to pick me up from my house, bring me to the nearest bus stop. Once I'm there, I have to wait for the bus and then go down to downtown. Once I'm downtown, I go from downtown to the Highland Hub, where that's the last stop that you can go to in Henrietta. From there, RTS On Demand with this new shuttle, thank God, takes you there to the VA every 20 minutes. That's what
That's
we deal with right
ridiculous.
now. And I'm
It
like,
should
we
be
got
a
to make
short
this better.
stop, straight shot.
Yeah. And a lot of other places, a lot of other VA areas, communities, we've talked to places, people in Texas, people in Kansas, they have, like, their areas have direct, like, whatever their RTS is there, they have buses just for the VA that run around town just to go to the VA. Why can't we do that? They say, oh, there's not enough people. Well, I bet you if you did it for all the areas RTS has buses, you'll start seeing there's a lot of people that will start taking that bus.
Well, not only that, but they also run buses for schools. So I don't understand why that's a problem. That is definitely one of the things that I will advocate and fight for veterans, because just getting to and from where you need to get for the resources that you need is essential for
Yeah.
their mental and physical, healing process.
And it opens up, I believe, having better transportation through RTS here in our area will open up the door for these other places that do rideshare programs for free for veterans, like DAV and all these vets driving vets. It'll open that up so then they can do more things, like take veterans to get groceries, take them to events, to help their mental health, whether it's golf therapy or, special events at the VFW. And it just seems like the veterans are being used as a dog and pony show when it comes to money and funding. But then again, the
Right.
money and funding isn't even used right to maximize the benefits, and it's just enough is enough. And I think the veterans are ready this year to dig our heels in and say, we want to know who's actually going to stick up for us. And we're not saying you guys have to know everything about us, but as long as when things come up, you give us a seat at the table and say, listen, we don't know, my team doesn't know. We want to know from actual boots on ground veterans that are walking the streets, that are dealing with this stuff. And that's all we want to really ensure, that we have that kind of relationship with the candidates that are coming in, because those are the ones that we're going to support. Because we get how it is, we get the dog and pony show all the time. Oh, we're going to help you, we got you, and then they get in and they're just like, who are you again? Oh, I'm sorry, you
Right.
can't even get through to them anymore. So
Well, I will tell you
we
that
know your dad if you do that. I know
I
you
will.
won't. I'm just
Well, I will tell you that veterans are near and dear to my heart. My father is not the only person who has military experience, and I'll let him speak in a minute. But I know my grandfather, his father, also served in a war or two. I have aunts and uncles on my mom's side who also enlisted in the military. So it's very important to me. I think the other piece is when you don't experience something that other people experience, it's hard to be relatable. So people
Yeah.
tend to have a sense of empathy, but it's not realistic to them because of because they haven't been through the same type of experience. Mental health is a tremendous issue. It's very close to my heart. And in terms of this whole traveling situation, I know that there tends to be some violence that takes place at the bus stop downtown. Why they would even put our veterans through that? Why? It's because they don't understand what PTSD is. They don't understand the spectrum of it. I think that they may have a sense of war movies and not understand that trauma comes in so many forms through so many different types of experiences. And so we need to be sensitive to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this was a question that came out, and I don't know if this is something that I didn't even. This had to do with benefits and advocacy. It says the New York State Department of Veteran Services recently saw a slight budget decrease in certain advisory areas. And they wanted to ensure that, so this goes back to having a seat at the table. Sorry, I'm just going over. There was some questions that people had, but just so
That's
whoever did
okay.
ask that, they know. we did talk about this. This is, just ensuring that the money that does come down for X, Y, and Z goes to X, Y, and Z and not ABC just because it can. That's a lot
Right.
of big things that happen. We like to get funds and then we'll say, but they're kind of okay. We could give it over here a little bit. That's those kind of things the veterans are really sick of, because it's not, it shouldn't be a pay to play. You know what I mean? It should be who is best for the job when it comes to funding. If somebody was good one year, look at their numbers. If it's not good the next, then we switch it up. That's
Right.
as Master Sergeant Green knows, the military is all about shoot, move, communicate. We adjust fire. When things don't happen, we adjust fire. So veterans are good at that. So when the civilian population and these politicians say it's going to harm the veterans with this change, listen, we go through so much change in our life. As long as it's good change, that's even better for us. Change happens all the time for us. So when they use those excuses, it really makes us mad, because they're trying to say that they're walking in our footsteps. No, you're not. You don't even know what we're
Mhm.
talking about. And you being in a family of military allows you to already subconsciously have that, that ammo. But also, if you don't know, you have your family who is not going to steer you wrong, who don't want you
Right.
to do bad for the veterans. It's so
Absolutely.
great. It's a blessing. That is awesome.
It is.
I do like
It
that a lot.
is.
Yeah, I will say that you made some good points. By me being in the VA for like 20 years, um, I've been through all type of experiences. Different.
Oh, a little bit of a freeze.
Oh, he's back. He had an incoming call. It's Is he back on?
I'm we can't hear you.
It's
I can give her all kind of ideals and different type of best practices that we've had, here in California, and then maybe some of the stuff can be mirrored or adjusted or adopted, for New York State. And I think, but she's the right person to get that done. She can make sure it gets it done, and she'll get the push from me also and her other family members to make sure that it's veteran centric. Definitely.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
Mr. Green, in the beginning, you had when you first started talking about her. If you don't mind repeating kind of what you were saying, because you had an incoming call that said on my screen, and it made you your audio go out, but we seen you still talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
What I was
okay. That's
saying
all
is
right.
that what I was saying is that Kalinda was going to be in good hands. I trust her. Um, I can share with her working here in the VA in Southern California for like 20 years. Some of the best practices from taxes to homelessness to transportation,
Yes.
how we use some of our programs to move our veterans around and how it's worked. So I think she's the right candidate, and she will always have this resource, from me and her other family members to make
Right.
sure that, she has the knowledge, for veterans. She's not going in blindsided. She's really going to know what she's talking about, because I'm going to make sure that she knows about veterans, because it's got to be veteran centric. Because, one thing about being a veteran, and you can understand this, by me working here at the VA, right? It's a calling. It's a calling.
Yes, sir.
It's something like being a pastor. It's sort of like, it's not a job. It's a calling for the affection that you have for our brothers and sisters who have served our great nation.
Amen. Yes, sir.
So Kelly, she knows that, because I've talked to her many times. So she's going to be the right candidate to get things done for New York State. I know that.
And
I
just
like
to
it,
the
and that's very
viewers, Kelly's
important.
my nickname. It's a whole long story, but that's my nickname. So he
Glenda,
tends
sorry.
to. It's okay, Dad.
He tends to use it. That's awesome. No, and it's great, because when I've been telling the veterans that, and our listeners, that we need to stop worrying about the federal government. Yes, it matters. We need to stop worrying about the state as much. Yes, it matters. But the county, the assembly, the Congress, those kind of things, yes, in state. But once you get to governor, I feel like it's a moot point to try to, make things change, with her. You need it there with the her or him, but in our case, her. So I believe that veterans, and I'm trying to empower them to start getting more involved with the lower echelons. You know what I mean? Get involved with your town boards and make sure those people are right. Get involved with, whoever's running for Congress. Assembly is huge. That's important. We need to know. Some people don't even know what assembly does. And I'm like, guys, I need to teach you. Sit down a minute, because it's very important. And if we don't start changing these positions, the other positions will never change. So if we care so
Right.
much about what's happening here, it's like you can try to keep knocking somebody off, but if they got a firm bridge and foundation they're standing on, then there's nothing you could do. So we need to definitely work on the legs that are in our area.
Well, not only that, Sarge, I wanted to tell you that being an educator has given me the opportunity to um, be very to have a strength rather in building relationships with people. So on this journey, as members of the Black Republican Club, and we have a community already. I want you and other veterans to know that I'm going to be on the ground. I want to talk to people. Yes, I have resources in my family. So, yes, that's great guidance, but I want to hear from our residents so that I can take notes and find out answers if I don't have them, and to make sure that there is a voice that is going to be loud enough to be heard in Albany.
Thank you. No, absolutely. And as we continue on, and when we push this podcast out, I will make sure that everybody knows, our listeners know, and organizations know that if they do want to, talk more with you, or have you at any events to talk, or to, have a panel discussion or whatnot, that you will be, you'll be more than happy to do so, because that's exactly what we would like. We'd like to have candidates to come by, and we were even thinking about, as the months go on here, we're going to do a combat news panel where I was going to host it at a place here in Monroe County, where we're just going to, invite veterans. There'll be a ticketed event, so we make sure it's just veterans that are coming. I'm trying to do it at the Brook House, and then having the people, the candidates come in, and we just question and answer, a nice panel session. But if I know that you will definitely be ready for that one, and be willing to do that for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Anyone who is interested in being a part of this movement of change, they definitely can locate me and find me on Facebook at Kalinda for NYS Assembly. I also have a page on Instagram, and that page is at Kalinda NYS, the letter A, because we didn't have enough characters to fill out assembly. But I am definitely ready to make those changes for the people who deserve to have those changes made. And our veterans are definitely at the top of that list.
Yes, and now, one more thing I do want to talk about, because you are the educator. I
Yes.
want you. Can you talk a little bit about our military personnel that aren't veterans, the ones that are in uniform, like recruiters and such, that are here, that have their kids in our schools, that they're not from Rochester, and now here they are. The military plants them in Rochester as a recruiter. And they're putting their kids into the public schools here. Can you talk a little bit about what your intentions are and hopes with trying to better education and literacy?
It's interesting because usually when, to my knowledge, when people are deployed or they're sent to a certain area, normally their families have the opportunity to attend like a military school. So that's interesting that this topic is coming up, because I always wondered that about Rochester. But maybe that is definitely a conversation that we can have at another time, because I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
no, yeah, because there's some recruiters that have told me that they said that they don't like some of the, one of them is actually going to, well, yeah, we could talk offline, but there's school, but
Right.
there's recruiters that have kids in our school districts, and they're like, you know what, is there anything that we can do, or because they don't want to pay for private school either, and that kind of stuff. But
There.
we know, with the literacy and with the education issues that we have here, I'm sure veterans and their kids do not deserve what we have to offer here in our
No.
area when it comes to education.
Well, that's part of the reason why I'm fighting for school choice. Parents should have an opportunity. They should have a choice, regardless of if they're in the military or not. But primarily, since we are on combat news, we're going to focus on our veterans right now. Those parents and families should have a priority, and they should have a choice. Most school districts in Monroe County, they have their per pupil capita for each student every year ranges between 26 and 38-ish thousand dollars per child. that money gets allocated from the government to the county, I believe, and then to the schools. A portion of that money should be given to parents to be used as a scholarship so that parents can have the choice to send their children where they want to send them to get the type of education that they want them to have, including homeschooling if that's the option that's being given. Money from the federal government should be able to assist parents in having those options because everyone's circumstances aren't the same. Not everyone can afford to send their children to private schools. And the way that we charge American citizens, Monroe County residents, how we just inflate school tax properties on home properties, where's that money going? Because clearly it's
Yeah.
not going towards our veterans. It's not going towards our schools. So it seems to me like we have a lot of money that's probably being pocketed in other people's pockets because it's not going in our communities.
Yeah.
Did I answer your
That's
question?
that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to and just this is just a warm up with for combat news. It's a warm up for everybody to find out who you are and everything because I know we've talked offline, and you and many others are going to
Now
be
Sarge is
a
free.
part of combat news a lot these next couple of months to ensure that you
Absolutely.
guys are the voice for the veterans and making sure that veterans and their families feel good about what you are bringing to the table because we are a team of action and we're a team
Yes.
of discipline, and I'm just so blessed that we were able to do this
Yes.
and
Thank you
Master
so
Sergeant Green,
much.
yes, Master Sergeant Green, do you have anything to tell the veterans in the whole community, a whole veteran community? Is there any advice that you'd like to leave them with? Any kind of uplift and motivational advice you have for us, especially my young generation, us young buck knuckleheads?
Yeah, well. First of all, I want to say I am a Rochester native, even though I've been away for a lot of years. I would just say that, hey, thank you for your service for a great nation. The benefits you earned and deserve, please use them. Don't take it for granted. Use your GI Bill, go to the VA, get the health care that you need. Even though you're young and healthy right now, please get enrolled, get your physical. Once a year, get a physical. You know, do all the things that you need to do, to stay fit. And, and next thing is that support your other veterans.
Amen.
Support the other veterans like the DAV. I don't know what you have in Rochester, but any service organizations, right? You need to make sure you support them because in a lot of our service organizations, they're older members and they're aging out right now. So
Yes.
it's time for the new generation to get involved because, it's you that's going to be the future for
That's
holding things
right.
together for us. So you
Hmm.
got to make sure that, participate and, be proud to serve. Be proud to be American veteran. Be proud.
Exactly.
Yes.
And don't
Yeah, I
stop
was
fighting.
actually. Yes, don't stop fighting. That's the thing, and that's what I want to say.
Mhm.
I was just at the Legion
Yeah.
Combat News. We just put up the Greece American Legion soup competition where we raised money for the Veterans Outreach Center Women's Children's Shelter, and so
Nice.
my soup ended up winning. But that's what we were talking about with the commander and the chaplain was we were like, hey, we got to get these younger guys in. I want to help any way we can, but we just need the older generation to understand we're not coming to take over and to shut everybody up. We're just coming with new ideas, trying to modernize it because the legions back in the day were for, the men like a good old boys club. But that was back in the day when the women stayed home with the children. Now, if you want the veterans to be more involved, you have to have, like we do steak bingo night over there. Kids can come, now they're thinking about doing gift cards for kids now, so if the kids win the bingo, it's not a steak, it's a gift card, a Fortnite, or, something like that, Amazon or something. But we have to have it more modernized. We have to have more kid orientated, community based, not the drinking good old boys club. It's just not going to work anymore.
Right. I
Yeah.
agree.
One thing I can say that I did here in Southern California, we used to do like welcome home events, and what happened was some of the older veterans were, like Vietnam era, they were upset because of like nobody ever had welcomed them home, whatever. So what we did is that we retitled and called it open houses. So here at all our clinics, we have about 11 C-Box and 2 ambulatory care centers. Once a year, we have an open house. And the open house is like a resource fair, job fair, one-stop shop, benefits, healthcare. So maybe in Rochester, I'm not really know how big it is, but maybe having some kind of open house to bring the family members out, to bring the young veterans in, to bring them out, bring everybody there, have hot dogs,
Yeah.
hamburgers, just come out and have a good time. And I think you bring the community together, and that's how you
Yeah,
bond to build a team.
that's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's a great idea, Dad.
Yeah, I know that we were talking about in my last meeting with my guys, my team at Combat News. We did want to link up with anybody. We were trying to just have it all community based. So we were going to go to candidates, we're going to go to organizations, and we're going to say, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. We're going to be doing, and just like you said, sir, we're going to do hot dogs, hamburgers, a couple hot dog cart
Right,
guys that we know that help with the veteran community, and
right,
get some donations and just make it one big community base. Let people come and table
right.
events. We can have the Latino Military
Yeah,
Coalition. We can have all these
yeah,
organizations together so veterans and their families have a one-stop shop, and we need to do it
yeah.
outside of the realm of organizations, and that's what I try to
Yes,
tell,
yes,
or like
yes.
government organizations. Like, we shouldn't have the
Right,
VA doing it, the VOC and all that. We need to have
right, right,
the ones that have no
right,
skin in the game, the ones that really
Right,
making a
right.
difference.
right.
Big
Yeah.
block party. Right.
That's right. That's right. And Kalinda, what is one thing that you would like to leave with the veterans as they are now learning about you and are going to continue to follow your journey and your message? What is something that you would like the veterans to know, so they can, be interested in and keep watching your journey to see what you have in store for us?
Well, number one, I just want to say in addition to my family and my father being members of the military, I tried it once. I tried ROTC and I finished my mile, and then I realized that I'm allergic to running. So everything that
I love it. I'm allergic to
everything
running now too.
there we go. We can start our own allergic to running club. My dad used to love running until his knees gave out a little bit. But I'm just going to say, continue to reach out to your local legislators. And I'm hoping that I am that legislator that you can reach out to. Let's start to have serious conversations about things that people are afraid to talk about, because that's where we find solutions. And don't stop fighting. You made a decision to fight for the country. So don't just come home and take it. Make sure that you force the legislation, you force the county, and you force the government to provide you with the rights that you deserve as a veteran of our country.
Yes. I agree 100%. Oh, thank you both so much for this. This was a blessing, and I know this is just the
Thank
start of
you.
many. And I hope Master Star and Green, if you follow us at Combat News, I know you're on the other side, but we do a veterans open forum every Wednesday night, and we have veterans from across state lines. We have DAV representatives, we have politicians. They all hop in, and it's a nice open forum. And also we do, the podcast like we do here. We go out and
Right.
do events, but you can follow us on YouTube as well. But I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for coming on to Combat News, Conversations with Sarge, because we are not aligned with any political parties. We have
Right.
veterans that are Democrats, Republican, Independent, believe in
Mhm.
God, atheists. We got it all. But what we want to do at Combat News is we want to walk that line of making sure that we're showcasing what candidates are saying about
Mhm.
veterans, showcasing what they have to, and the veterans know that the candidates are either going to look good to us or they're going to just dig themselves a hole. And we let the veterans decide that. Us at
That's
Combat
right.
News, we just want to make sure that the candidates are able to talk about the veteran stuff and to talk directly to veterans, because if you go to the local media, it's going to be cut, it's going to be edited. Here at Combat News, if you have anything you ever want to talk about, Kalinda, or any other candidates, they know they can come to me and say, hey, can we do a little podcast? I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to the veterans about some things. And we'll say, yes, let us know when, because that's what we want to do. We want to ensure that the candidates know we are going to bring their information they have for veterans directly
That's
to
right.
veterans. So Thank you so
Yes.
much for giving the
Yes.
veterans and myself this opportunity. And I hope
Yes.
you both have a blessed day. And
Yes.
All right.
good luck in running, Kalinda. And we will be watching and tracking. And
Thank
you
you.
know, it's all about the vets, and we appreciate everything that you said today.
Yes. And
Okay, Sarge,
anytime
be
you'd
all you
like
can
for me to
be.
come back, we're talking over each other. Go ahead, Dad.
Now
What?
I will say, Sarge, be all you can be.
Absolutely, be all you could be. Ooh, that's
And
me.
I was just I was just gonna say that anytime I would love to come back and have another conversation about anything. I'm just really thankful for the opportunity and I'm thank you for listening to me and my dad.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
You guys were a blessing. You guys have a blessed day. All right.
You
God
too.
bless
You
you.
take
Thank you
care.
so much. Take care. Okay,
All right. Take
bye-bye.
care.
This ain't